for something. Yeah, now she better ride.
Yo, episode 67 of the Swerve City Podcast. We back in here. Last time I ran solo dolo, but this episode, this week, today, I had to bring in my cohort, my partner in crime. I had to bring in Scottie Pippen over here. You know, actually, you more like Scotty and Rodman together, because that's how we like to roll. Like, I like to pass it on, you know, Swerve, big name and all that stuff, but we don't get the rings without this man right here. Just getting the roses. But I had to bring in the big dogs because we got extraordinaire 30 years in the game of not only just comedy, but in movies, music, entertainment, all across the board, film. Oh, my God. I've been growing up watching this man laughing. He's brought so much humor to my life, and I'm pretty sure all of yours at home. The Black All-Star himself, Mr. Affion Crockett. What's going on, family?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming, bro. Peace.
Appreciate
man.
you, Flash Garments, for the connection on this one.
Garments.
Garments.
It up, bro.
Garments.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Real quick, show, like, every time he's in around the room, show what he's wearing, because his name is Garments. You got to kind of acknowledge.
He going to have some garments on.
Yeah.
You hear me?
You got to advertise that for a second.
He going to have some garments.
Yeah. You know, so yeah, but we back here, man. This was like one of these pop-up episodes of like, yo, we got one. We got a guest. What is everybody doing? Made the call. Come from Tampa. Come from whatever he's doing. Drop the project. X came through. You know, if we got X, this is a big one. That man's usually
I'm
really
honored,
busy.
man. I'm honored.
But yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Yo, we just came from your show last night at the Orlando Improv, man. Talk about it.
It was
My first time seeing you live.
That was your first time, right?
Yes.
It was interesting, right?
Yeah.
Look, you tell me what was your perspective on it.
Okay, so first off, it was hot as in the room.
It was until I said something and called him out on it.
Yeah,
They was
but
trying to sell drinks.
that was already 2 acts already going on.
Right,
So we
right.
was already like, I'm already musty.
Right.
Other people are too. The table's a little drenched and moist. I don't want to get
It
into
was
it.
humid as hell inside.
Yeah, but man, like Afion's doing his thing, hilarious, really great material, which we're gonna get into later on about the subject matter that you like to speak on. But honestly, the crowd control. There was we had one, like, I wouldn't call him a heckler, but he was just a little active mouth in the audience.
He was just a dick.
He became a dick earlier on,
Yeah.
but because he was like getting spicy early on in the shows, right? And he was like testing out some of the comedians. Justin Heyer had to like settle him down. He was like, "Hey, don't be doing that when Affion get on the stage." And he was like, well, that was the warning shot. And I was like, "Oh, I think that kind of reveled him up a little bit more." And he ended up having his shirt off during Afion's set and everything. Nearly at the end,
He was just a doing too much ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's times when I understand, like, sometimes I can go even harder with the words.
Right.
And some people, you know, feel away, but I can look at myself and be like, you know what? I kind of egged that on because my subject matter was a little too you know, engaging. And then when the person said something, I lean into that. With that dude, he just kept at points when I'm talking to the whole crowd, I'm minding my business. At the time, we was all singing songs, remember?
Right.
I'm bringing everybody together in the moment.
Right.
And for whatever reason, he wanted to stand up and get more attention. And so it was Bazooka time. And, you
Let
know,
his ass have it, huh?
it was Bazooka time. And it was, you know, I had too many people in the room. Even without my people being there, without y'all being there, he was going to get fucked up last night.
Oh, word.
Because I felt that. It was to the point where I was just like, you know what? I've worked too hard. I've worked too hard to just have peaceful, nice, engaging shows. For this guy to just think he's going to test me, stand up, posture up as if he going to threaten me in some kind of a way. I was ready to jump down off the stage and be like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And I'm not even that kind of guy.
No.
I'm not. That's not me. So
And another thing, that's the thing, like, afterwards you were discussing like somebody like that, and that's what the society's at now with social media. A lot of people are just trying to get their 1 minute moment to try to come up off of your name and stuff like that, and protecting yourself. You got to, like, it's not even about like, man, I got to protect my manhood, my soldier, my gangster a little bit. No, you got to protect your brand now.
It's all encompassing, right?
Yeah,
It's manhood, because as a man, even if you're not a brawler or a tough guy, there's a part of your manhood that when somebody just keeps testing and seeing what they can get away with, now you're dealing with my livelihood. You're dealing with my spiritual manhood that says no one can come into my energy, my space, and think they're gonna sun me like that. Like this, let's not go
You've been
there.
in the game too long. You've seen it all. You've experienced a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah, and I've been bullied before. I was bullied when I was growing up, so I've had to overcome that as a kid, and then teach myself how to fight, and then start sparring with black belts and really figuring out where I am in this space of manhood. And then but I'm a peaceful guy, so it's not until somebody like that just wants to keep testing that you feel like you gotta protect your own.
Yeah, people always want to come at the comedians. They want to come at the funny people. They want to come at the R&B
Because they think
people.
comedians is really a joke. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They think
yeah.
it's sweet over here.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
He almost found out last night. Oh my Lord, he almost found out.
No, when you showed the little roundhouse kick joint, I was like, yo, okay, I'm sent. I'm out. Because I know what that kick is. And the fact of seeing you do that,
stood up.
I was like, that's the one that got me out my seat. Because I know, like, that wasn't a bit. That was just, like, sporadic, because it's the sporadic humor.
Yeah.
And, like, and one of the
But
things.
I wasn't being funny.
No. I'm like, no, he can really do that.
Because he stood up. You heard him. He stood up. He's like, what this 50-year-old guy going to do to me? I was like.
I didn't even hear that part of that. That's where I was
Wow.
like, okay, what set him off? And I was like, okay, I get it. I
said
get
that.
it.
He stood up and that's how I knew he was serious. And that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm not a tough guy, but when you talk to my manhood and question it in that way,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, dude, even if I lose the fight, you're not just gonna say some shit like that, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna address it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, so 30 years in this game coming up now, right?
Damn near, yeah.
Going back to
Since 94.
94 and Def Comedy Jam.
Yeah.
That is a lot of history. That's
Yeah.
a lot of that's a lot of that's a lot of just like a lot of people that you came up with that is like I'm going to consider you a legend in my own right, because like I said, I grew up with you guys.
Thank you, man.
I grew up watching you guys, talk about the competition in that era, that time, just trying to get like, you're competing with like a Chris Tucker, you're competing with a Bernie Mac, and like all these like Martin Lawrence, Eddie Griffin, all these guys are just like gunslingers and stuff. And like, I really feel like after on that time, but afterwards, later on, you really start carving out your own niche in a way too.
Yeah, well, to be clear, I wasn't competing with none of those guys because those guys were my teachers. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Those guys were my, Chris Tucker. Even though we're around the same age, he broke onto the scene before me, so he was somebody I looked up to and admired his brilliance on stage, his fearlessness on stage, on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Bernie Mac is like a professor. He's one of the people that I met early on in the comedy game, and he just was like, he didn't know who I was either, but he was always the coolest guy. And when I met him early in my career, like around 95, 96, he was like, man, just take your time. I've been doing this for 25 years, and I'm just now getting my,
At that point too.
At that point, he had just been doing it for 25 years.
Wow.
So his biggest advice to me was just take your time, man. Enjoy the journey. And I never forgot that. But yeah, all them guys you named, Martin Lawrence, those are my senseis, my sifus.
Yeah,
so
right.
I just watch and learn and study.
So when you was going through that transition, when you was first learning, what was some of the most important things, like the nuances that you learned from like your early stand-up stuff, learning from those guys? What are some of the things that, you know what, that's cool, I'm going to try that, or you know what, that I'm going to do that different? What's some of the things that, like kind of the hardships that you started when you first started out there with the live crowd? Was there anything you had to adjust?
I can't say that there were many hardships because, even when you get booed off a stage or that type of energy, that's just part of the game. You know what I mean? He's a wrestler, so he knows you're going to get some injuries. You're going to get bumps and bruises. You're going to get all of that stuff while you're perfecting your craft and getting better and better. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
those weren't hardships for me. That was just like being in the gym, sparring, and you get hit.
Yeah, you can
But
get
what-
booed out the ring too.
Right.
And that's happened. I've seen it. You can get booed. I've heard
I've
like
seen it too.
Yeah. So it's like I said, there's a lot of parallels with like the performances of like wrestling. It's more physical, but like it's still performance.
For sure.
And like there's a lot of parallels with a lot of the business and the entertainment industry all together. I never like put like two
But
different
you're actually
things.
answering his question.
Oh,
What I
yeah.
learned from that era was performance.
Ah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like a lot of people now are and no knock to it, but most
Yeah.
people are so used to consuming things on the phone and performing on the phone or doing skits, what they call. I call sketches, but they call them skits now. And they're not used to being on a live stage where you have to utilize and perform and utilize every inch of the stage.
Right.
And give the audience a show. It's the difference between, when you see a rapper who's on stage and he just got 10 guys standing behind him and he just kind of like just walking around, cupping the mic and doing bullshit versus Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right.
Full
Yeah.
band, full choreography, full sweat, full outfits and garments.
Jerry curl sweat flying in the
it's
front row.
performance.
Yeah,
Damn,
all of
man.
it.
And all the dance moves was in sync. Everybody was on point. Like, and even
The
if
era
it-
of
it's
comedy
just,
back
man,
then was that. It was performance.
Right,
Def
right.
Comedy Jam taught me how to perform full out.
Do you think so? What do you think has been like the transition? So when you first saw this, so let's say, when you first started seeing the transition into social media and the comedians are kind of doing things a little bit different, the skits on the phone and,
Yeah.
not naming anybody in particular, but, the way the era is now, what was your opinion on that, seeing it now? You was like, well, these guys got to get better, or was it like a transition?
Nah, it was no opinion. It was
Right.
This is just a new platform. I don't understand when some of the older guys get threatened by that.
Right.
It's just a changing of the time. I looked at it as, oh, great, I could do it even faster now. I can reach my audience even faster.
It helps you out, right?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I get involved in every platform. And the reality is it don't matter how traditional your style or your platform is. There's garbage people in every platform. And there's great people in every platform. So it doesn't matter what the platform is. It's are you talented or are you not? So there's some really talented people on the internet.
What I've noticed, it's like I said, it's like a parallel with like wrestling, music, comedy, even acting. I'm seeing a lot of people, they're getting booked to headline before they're developed to be headliners.
Amen.
That's a fact.
Like I said, like I'm sure you're seeing guys that's like, and it kind of sets you back in a sense because you haven't been developed to be the headliner or the main eventer. It kind of sets you back if you get put in that spot. You can get awarded. The machine can push all those things to you that you're supposed to be that guy and push it to the public. But then it's like, we're not connecting though.
Yeah.
Not connecting. So and then you kind of go set back down to mid card or low card or back down to like, part number 3 or doing this part of the shows. And it's all because of engagements in the phone. And it's a false sense of it's a false sense of reality. Just because you have the 500,000 followers doesn't mean you're filling 5,000 seats. It doesn't mean that you're generating $500,000 in the box office. It doesn't mean you're generating this.
Yeah.
When did you really start seeing that transition where it's like, okay, this guy's good, but he's not developed to become what he should be?
I mean, I noticed that, Hollywood started making followers, and algorithms matter. They started to be like, well, how many followers does this person have? And they'll start booking them in movies and TV shows and, like you said, live shows because of their following. And, you start to see it. There's no need to call anyone out.
No.
Because
it's just an educational tool.
Yeah, for sure. And their own lack of development exposes them already. Right?
Yes.
But at the end of the day, when Hollywood started making it matter and they try to like book the guy that has more followers than you and move them past you, I just be sitting back looking at it like, all right, cool. Let's see how this goes. Let's see how this TV show goes, how well written it's gonna be, how great of an actor this person really is on a bigger screen versus the phone. It's some people make it and some people don't. And not to say that, just because they didn't make it in TV and film that they're not going to be successful, because a lot of these dudes is millionaires, multimillionaires off the phone itself.
Yeah.
So maybe they just need to stay in that lane or whatever. But I don't knock anyone that's trying to expand on what they do. But like you said, you'll find out what lane you belong in once you step out and try it.
Yeah, I feel like the phone just added another level to truly development. It's like, okay, now you get the following here, you become the name here. to get to the name on stage, to get to the name on the big screen.
Right.
Rather before it was just like you get your name on the stage, then you get the name to the big screen. Now it's like we got another level to go to.
Right.
And I wish, I really wish, still to this day, I've been asking for this for years, was a Comedy Central Presents. That was a lot of times where I seen a lot of guys I'd never seen who've been grinding for a while finally get that look, and then like, boom, you got your 12, 15 minutes on this special.
Yeah, that's how you saw
got
a lot of people, bro.
3 sets, and that's an hour show. And now that's kind of gone away.
Right.
And like, what do you think took that away? Was it do you think it was the honestly, the lack of like people, was there no want anymore, or was it just like, oh, comedy right now is a really sensitive subject with how the world is moving and things like that?
What took away those comedy specials?
Yes.
Or those types of shows?
Yeah, that
became,
was just on public television.
Yeah, they became oversaturated, right? I think a lot of TV networks and producers just became uninventive and just start copying. Like Def Comedy Jam was such a phenomenal show that so many people tried to spin that off,
right,
and recreate that magic.
Yeah,
because they thought, oh, all I need is a show with 3 or 4 comedians on it, and it's gonna be a hit. That's not true.
No,
right.
That was lightning in a bottle. To have Martin Lawrence as the host, Martin Lawrence, if you don't understand, go back and understand how much of a guru, of a master he was as a host. He's the one that set the tone for that show to be as great as it was. And some people don't even know what Def Comedy Jam is now. That's how far removed we are from it.
Right.
But it was the thing that set the tone. So after Def Comedy Jam, you have Comic View, which watered down the craft. You had
I found a lot of great comedians through Comic View, though. I watched that stuff.
A lot of great
night,
comedians was on there, like people that we know today.
Yeah, like
but
Bruce
the show itself, the structure of the show started to water down the art form of what you're talking about, the produced, televised version of those those mixtape type of comedy shows, or those multiple comedians on one show. I'm just talking about the structure of the show.
Right.
Great people was on the show.
Absolutely.
100%. But at the time, it was like even the great ones was like, yeah, I need that TV exposure. So of course I'm gonna go on, these different shows when Def Comedy Jam was off the air. But yeah, I'm just talking about the structure of the show. It was that show, and it was a lot of other shows that just tried to copy the format, but they didn't have the same magic in the formula.
Well, so so now as that transitions and you go to more, like I notice now that things are becoming more live show improv, kind of like a Wildin' Out, stuff like that. Things have kind of going to more live show theater based now, especially like what Nick Cannon and many other guys are doing. Do you think that's the new transition now that more people are going into, instead of like the Comic View type things, like how Wildin' Out's been around for forever?
Yeah.
That kind of like that live show. You get guests in, you kind of feed off each other type thing instead of
physical comedy.
Instead of just the live set, somebody go out there and get 10, 15 minutes. How do you feel about that transition? And who else do you see, like, is there anybody you see now that could do that? Any up-and-comers? Anybody you see that could do that?
They could do what? That
could take, like, that next step as far as bringing something new to comedy. Anybody else, anybody that you can shout out that you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got 85 South who started on Wildin' Out.
Shout out to those guys, yeah.
They innovated. They started their own podcast. It became a podcast, and then it was like, let's make this a live show. They started doing live show, and now they're selling out arenas. You can't get any better than that. That's incredible. And then, I mean, shout out to Nick Cannon, too. Like, Wildin' Out is around because he found that lightning in a bottle. He figured out how to capture the energy of the youth, of some of the artists and the crowd, the audience, and make a show that is 20 plus years in. I started on there. We started that show in 2005.
Woo!
You know what I mean? Like, that's OG.
Yeah.
So we started that show in 2005. So what is it, 18 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
still
shout out to Nick Cannon. Like,
I think he found the format and he put culture in it.
He put culture. It's fully culture.
Yeah.
It
was like, this is our show as a community, as a culture. This is like,
100%.
I know guys like this in school. I know guys like that. I know girls like this that say that,
And that's why, like, everybody asks me, why you not back on Wildin' Out? It's like, it's what you said. It's school. It's like high school, and you know we've all seen the athlete that try to go back to high school and tell them stories like, yeah, I used to be here too, and I
had 7 yards of carry.
Yeah. I got 18 sacks a game. Like, no, you didn't. But you know, you have to leave room for those new, fresh faces to get on there and spread their wings too. You know what I'm saying? And I was just on to other things, but Wild 'N Out is an institution, and I'm happy to say that I'm a part of it, and that the same way Saturday Night Live is a thing that has spawned a lot of stars on that side of the fence.
For sure.
Nick Cannon has made stars off of Wild 'N Out.
Over the last, over this
Including me.
2000s up. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. The subject matter for your material and your stand-up is phenomenal because it's very relatable. like just going through like your bits from last night, talking about, oh, girl, oh, my God, Cancun, having nicknames for certain dudes and all that stuff. I was like, that is so relatable. Where do you pull for your material? As far as like, is it experience? Is it like, where do you connect?
It's all experience. It's observation. It's having friends that I could talk to and or observe and see what their personality's like. Yeah. Like I have female friends and I just hear them talk. And the more I hear them talk, I realize, oh, women talk about everything. Mm-hmm. They will get in a room full of girls and it's open season on everything men.
Yeah, it is.
Everything. They'll talk about a mole on your balls. Like, they'll detail, girl, he had this mole on his balls.
Oh,
women talk about everything down to, you know, how you paid for the meal, how you smelled when you picked her up, if it was good smell, if it was whatever they talk about every detail.
He opened the door with his left hand. Like, what the was that? Yeah.
Especially when they're into you. When they're into you, it's a whole, girl, he did this. And they be so excited. And for me, that's like, a lot of guys might frown upon it. Like, they always gossiping. For me, I look at that as, they supposed to have their time. They supposed to, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Get together as women and, you know, do y'all little, let them have that. You know what I'm saying? We got guy talk. We got the barbershop. You know what I'm saying? We have our
man caves.
We have all of that. The pool hall, you know what I'm saying? The gym, like we have all of those things. So it's like I celebrate the differences. Yeah. But that's what you hear on stage is me just accenting the differences in how we operate. And a lot of women come up to me afterwards. They was like, how do you know that we be doing all that?
You tell us.
Y'all, exactly.
You tell us.
I listen.
But women say we don't listen. Yes, we do. We just take it, and we. That's the thing about men. We take it and we use it for something.
Well,
we're resourceful people.
We're good filters. We filter what we want to use and listen to, and we use it. You know what I mean? To our and women, they don't filter. They hold on to that.
Yeah, it's going to come out somewhere.
It's going to come out somewhere.
They ball that joint up, and it's going to come out somewhere. Like that's why it's fun. It's funny because me and my girl, we were just talking about the dating pool, like. Maybe that week before, early in the week before coming in, you were talking about the dating pool. There's doo-doo in it. Yeah. It is so full bad. On. So bad.
Diarrhea in the pool.
But the fact that there's like, then once again, we go back to the phones. There's social media of people talking about how you're supposed to date, what men you're supposed to look for, what dominant this and all this stuff.
But that became popular because it's about the clickbait now. It's such a hot topic to cause the division between men and women that everyone's tuning in now to either defend it or to chime in. If you're scarred, you'll chime in with that scar and you'll be like, yeah, this is right. Men don't do enough of this or women don't do enough of that. You know what I mean? So they've tapped into what's making them money. It's really, there's not a lot of truth to what's being said on these podcasts.
And the crazy thing is too, like, and it's funny because I do my research, so I end up seeing these engagements on Twitter for people that's posting these relationship things,
right?
These men and women conversations, right?
Right.
And then you go to their page, you go to their YouTube. These people got like 15 subscribers. They ain't even got no following, but they post stuff.
They post for engagement.
For engagement.
Yeah.
And seeing what these people are talking about. You know what I mean? It's wild, bro.
And that was the point. I see like 200 subscribers, but then like this video has 100,000 just because they're in that algorithm of pool of talk about discussion and women.
That one video is circulating because of the topic.
I'm like, like, is this informative or is this junk? Is like
no, now it's just to get conversation started.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a post the other day where a chick was like, she said, if men suck toes and nipples, y'all might as well suck too. And everybody under the thing, I was like, so y'all just gonna say anything now?
Flash, come on, bro.
Y'all just gonna say anything?
The comments be like, "Girl, you on to something?" I'm like, "No, she's not." Stop.
Nah, most of the people
come on,
like,
bro.
most of the people just like, nah. Guys, men and women was like, you tripping?
Oh my god! But there's
And I
somebody.
was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep sucking these titties. I don't know.
Nature
I
made
don't know
up
about all
me.
that shit, but I'm gonna suck these titties though.
Nature
what you
made
want.
me to titty to be sucked by a man.
Yeah,
so
that's what the for.
no, now they want to be dominant. Now it's a whole nother conversation now. And now now it's a confusion of oh, men do this. And I'm like, no, the wrong man does that.
Facts.
And you learn from the woman getting scorned by the wrong man.
Facts.
Generation after generation after generation. And
Shout
now
out
they
to all
think
my
it's just
healed
men.
women out there.
Amen,
All my healed,
brother.
balanced,
Amen,
sensitive
man.
Yeah.
goddesses out there. I love y'all.
Yeah.
Ain't no woman bashing over here.
No, we love y'all. I mean, but I'm just saying, like, men have it too. I've been scorned by the wrong woman after the wrong woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Scorned,
So
man.
like, there's a complex in my mind that's like, ooh, I'm
But how
hesitant.
healed are you?
Facts.
I'm still healing. I'm still working on being healed. I've only just found the right woman. I'm like, you know what? It's been 3 months. We ain't had an argument yet. I think I'm going to hold on for another 3 months.
There you go.
And then it's like, okay, now I want to build on the next 3 months. And some
you
people
go.
are like, yo, I found him. This is it. I'm like, no.
Take it bit by bit. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if that little thing that he does that, like, oh, that's cute, it's annoying. Let's see if that's going to be like an argument, flat out fight 8 months from now. Let's see if like the next time he doesn't do his laundry on time or leaves this here in your spot, how much that becomes a problem. And now the whole makeup of the dream guy that you just had is just, he's the ain't. Now you're looking for the next dude.
Right.
Now,
That's all I'm saying.
now at this stage that you're at, right, in this for you being a veteran, you being around, you being connected as you are, you being a legend in what you do. How has it been? Like, just watching, you see all these women, all these successful women out here, and it's like, is it worse once you get to that level? Is it worse with the women when you get to that level as far as the pickings? Or is like, I'm gonna get somebody that, is low key. She might maybe don't know who I am, but I'm gonna pick somebody low key. She in the house, nobody knows her. Or is it different once you get to that level, the type of women you get access to?
It's definitely different. I mean, the world opens up for you when you have a certain level of access and status. There is a level of that. Damn, I had a thought. I lost my thought with something you said that was triggering something else. Damn, it was about to be a gem too. Sorry.
No, you're good.
It is a different level, but it's not like I try not to ever go on the negative with it.
Absolutely.
It can be difficult. Like there's a level of opportunistic energy when certain women just kind of want to come up off your name or off of who they think you know or who they see you around. But at the end of the day, it's about how the phone, again, going back to the phone, we're all now in a one world culture for the most part, right? Like, you can go to different countries and sure, they have different traditions, but the culture of dating and social connectivity is being it's being lessened, or it's being balled up into one little package,
Right.
because we're all looking at the same types of stuff on the phone.
You ain't lying.
Meaning, we're all looking at how women are supposed to act and conduct themselves, and how these reality shows conduct women or show how women are, or these podcasts or how men act. Like, we're all now experiencing the same thing. So, case in point, right? Most people say dating in LA is tougher than dating in the Midwest somewhere, but I'm saying no. I think it's all becoming the same, because the mindset is being seen on the phone simultaneously now.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what city you're in. It doesn't matter what status you are. I think the dating challenges and successes are the same now, because everyone's voice sounds the same now. It doesn't matter what city or if you're in entertainment or not. You could be working in an office building in Seattle, but the women in there, because they study the Kardashians and all these influencers, chances are they start to now think like these same women.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what's making the dating a little more difficult is people are having this, everywhere you go now, people are having the same mentality. And same with the guys. Guys, there's less manhood now. Guys don't know how to be men. Guys don't know how to court women. They don't know how to be chivalrous. They don't know how. It's a lot of that just being lost because a lot of guys feel like, oh, I could just trick off. I could get a bag. I could run through. I could do all of that type of stuff. And all that's doing is getting us further and further away from traditional family life.
Yep.
It's breaking down the family structure.
Yep. And it's tricky.
I know I just said a whole lot. I know I just said a whole lot.
No, that's good.
Just digest it.
Man, spit your game, brother.
But it's also tricky because like it's the women need to be gotten. We are the hunters. We are trying to. So it's like we're all after the same type of woman.
Facts. And all the women look alike now.
Yeah. Yeesh. The archetypes are like lessening. They're like
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Everybody is becoming the same person.
Yeah.
Like, and I miss them days. Like, it's funny now because you don't really think about it when you're younger. But now you miss them days when you and the homies used to go to the food court at the mall or at the club or whatever. And then y'all would just, all right, y'all, there's 4 of them, there's 4 of us. Let's see who we can get. You know what I mean? You had to force yourself to interact and force yourself to interact with women and talk to women. That's how you learn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By interaction, learn today.
No, we getting canceled now if we go say the wrong thing in the wrong time with the wrong camera.
Absolutely,
well, and
bro.
then it's also, to your point, the challenge is gone. You can just slide in somebody's DM now.
Talk about it, bro.
And there's not a lot of shame if she doesn't read it or if she's just like, nah, I'm not interested. Because that's just words on the DM as opposed to in your face. That in your face, you got to get the bravery up.
Yeah.
You at the food court or you in the parking lot or whatever, and you see that chick and you like, oh, I gotta have her. I gotta go talk to her. And you know that there's a different energy that comes with that challenge of being able to walk up to a woman and be able to charm her and get her number and, you know what I'm saying, take her on a date. That era is gone.
That human energy. You're not exchanging the energy anymore for as people.
Yeah.
But also, like, name a bad chick that's going to the mall nowadays. Nobody going to the mall nowadays, man.
Well, they be in the mall.
They be in the mall?
But they be in the mall. but for the most part,
they shut down stores in the mall.
They got
their
AirPods in and they try not to be bothered because, you know, they don't know. Because there's a lot of guys, you know, to women's credit, there's a lot of guys who can't take rejection. And as soon as she says, I'm not interested, or maybe she's not feeling her best that day, and she's like, no, thank you, or whatever. And guys be like, man, you then, you know, it's so. I understand where women are like, yo, I don't want to deal with that energy in person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Man, all right, let's move on to the movies, to the films, the things that brought me so much joy, me growing up. For one, I feel like one of the most truly underrated comedies in the 2010s era was Dance Flick.
All right, before we go into that, I can't say names.
For sure.
Because of the SAG strike.
Got you.
I can't say names, but you guys can say the names of people that was in it with me, then I'll know what you're talking about.
Got you.
So the film I did with the Wayans family.
The Wayans family.
Got you. Yeah, I'm not going to say no names of
Yeah.
of the
Not going to
projects.
say. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
My God, bro. Like, it was so much creative humor that was going on with that, you know, with so-and-so and all that stuff. And then seeing, like, the generations of different talents that was spread out throughout the entire film. I was like, oh, my God, that's funny. And then, but also seeing them work off of each other in different ways and all that stuff. It was so funny, so well done, and taking, like, little quips and then blowing it up times 10.
Right.
What is the process working with the family and on these sets and all these, and, like, just taking ideas that are so... That, like, oh, that's funny, but then blowing it up to the big screen to make it, like, so much big, because y'all are big on physical comedy.
Yeah, all
of you guys together as a collective, and, like, just I go to that film personally because that's where I was like, okay, it started with Scary Movie, of course, and then going on to, like, making those. Like talk about like taking those like little ideas and just blowing up to making like big physical comedy on big screens like that.
Yeah, you gotta understand the genius of Keenan Ivory
Truth.
Wayans.
Legend,
Truth.
man.
OG,
Another one I grew up on.
Yoda. He's all the things. Like he's one of my biggest teachers as well. Like I have a lot of teachers, but when it comes to the film, the sketches, the writing, the performance, the character work, his brilliance is just unmatched. I mean, this guy put his whole family on his back.
Truth.
Yes,
From
he
New
did.
York City.
Yes, he did.
From New York City,
Yeah.
put his whole family on his back, and they wear that name proudly. Man, Wayans is an institution, and those guys are my teachers. So to be able to be on set with him and them,
Mhm.
I can't even put into words how much of a masterclass, how much of a blessing, how much of a dream come true. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes,
it's just, it was one of the most fun times I've ever had on a set. Like, it was
On that particular project?
on that particular joint, like
Yeah.
the amount of jokes
Yes.
and us feeding off each other, and then because I'm such a student of them, my sense of humor has their rhythm.
Right.
Naturally.
Right.
Like I don't shy away from that. I'm heavily influenced by the Wayans family. And so I can jump in and spar with them comedically.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we all just laughing and iron sharpening iron. But yeah, those guys, man, and Auntie Kim, like they brilliance.
How much do you take like that's something like maybe it's a joke at just having lunch and then you're like we need to use that.
Oh,
throw
yeah.
it into that.
It
you
happens.
know?
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like you never know when something's gonna make it in, or when Keenan or Sean is gonna be like, "Yo, use that, say that,
Yes.
do it again, da da da."
Build on that and play and
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Like you blow it up. You like, oh that is funny. But how do we make it funny? How do we like really make people, your viewers, understand it instead of like, wait, I missed that. I didn't understand that as much. And how much like improv do you get in those scenes too?
Yeah, like how
Plenty.
much like back and forth? It's just
Yeah.
the camera to start rolling and you
Yeah.
guys to start free flowing.
well, but it has to be in line with the story, right?
Correct.
You can't just go freestyle for freestyle's sake. You have to have the brilliance of, all right, how do I push the story forward and stay locked into what the story is saying?
It's even in a spoof film like that too. They
Even
can
in-
kind of
yeah.
go left
In
and
any
right
type
and
of
wrong.
comedy, you
Yeah.
gotta figure out how to make the freestyle work for the scene. So you got to make the scene the most important thing versus your own comedic timing, and you try and get your own shot off. It's kind of like a
For
basketball game. Like if Steph was only worried about making his numbers and how many threes he can get per game,
right.
he's gonna have 87 points, but they're gonna lose the game.
Absolutely.
The team has to play.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So the vision of the scene is crucial. But for me, learning how to blow it up on a screen is what I was saying earlier. Like I've learned every platform. I've learned YouTube, IG. I've learned how to write TV, film, live, stand up. Like I've learned every platform because I want to be able to relate to everybody in every medium. I don't limit myself to anything. So I can get down on TikTok. I can get down on IG. I can get down on YouTube and create some magic there. I can create magic anywhere I am because I've taken time to study the craft in each of those platforms. So that's, Keenan has a lot to
I
do
think
with that.
Keenan did the same thing though at that time too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that only grown more
100%.
as technology's grown, as society's grown. He's been doing that like how many generations now?
Since the 80s.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then like teaching that to Damon and teaching that to Marlon. And Marlon took it and just went to a whole nother level with it too.
Still going. Yeah.
Still going. Shout out to him. Like
Damon Jr. Craig, Damon.
so talented.
Yeah.
All them guys. That's why I was so like, and that was so like cool for me to see all of them at one time
Yeah.
doing their thing. And then see him bringing like the homies from here and over here. Even like David Allen Greer coming in,
Yeah.
like who's a very super underrated, like
Master.
like
Master.
brilliant mind in comedy.
Yeah.
And like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like you seeing all these powers, and like, do you control that or do you just let it go?
Right.
Like,
What
how
do
much
you
do
mean?
you, like, as far as like on a screen like that, you seeing all these superpowers of talent. Like
You have to harness it and let them go.
Okay, so it is.
You gotta give them the structure of what the scene is, and masters of the craft know how to honor that.
Right.
Correct.
But within that, you let them go. Get out of Brilliance's way.
Truth.
You got to get out of
Amen, brother.
Brilliance's way every time. You know what I mean? Like, one thing about me, even in a live show format, right, with stand-up, there's some comedians throughout time, and you can hear other podcasts and hear other comedians talk about this. There's some comedians who, when they have somebody opening up for them, they'll limit them. And they'll say,
Yeah, I hear stories about that.
I've heard
all the
about
time.
that too.
Yeah, I hear about that.
Don't talk
all the
about
time.
this subject, or don't talk
That's
about
that's my bit.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't do that. I let the guys that's featuring for me, I respect them and I treat them as headliners.
Right.
I don't minimize them. So I'd be like, yo, do whatever. Go out there and light the room on fire. I want to be able to follow that and challenge myself to be even funnier or to be in that same energy, and we just tag team this audience.
Wrestling's the same way.
You understand what I'm saying?
Music to the
Like,
So I
don't go outside the ring in the match too.
I don't want to take nobody's shine away. I want you to shine even harder because I'm confident in what I'm bringing.
Amen.
Yep.
The more you shine, it's going to make my whole sun come out. So, you know, that's what I feed off of.
That's like that, but that's the old school art of like making the crowd want to come back.
Oh, yeah.
You always want to leave them with something like, I got to come back when y'all are in town. So
100%.
that, and that builds the whole card.
Yep.
You want to make them come back. Like, that's what, like, goes back to the old school Def Comedy Jam. Man, like, early on the show, you see people rocking, standing up, jumping, throwing stuff. Like,
That was
early,
the energy back then,
early, you know, in the shows, you know, and then, like, finally, then, like, Bernie Mac, I ain't afraid of you. Like, just boom. It's like, okay, this is my guy now, you know?
But that's the thing, Swerve. That goes back to what we were saying from back in the day. Like, when an artist would drop a project back in the day, like even in relation to music, when an artist would drop a project, okay, the project was cool. But when they went on when they went on TRL, when they went on 106 in Park, when they went on with Big Tigger and dropped the freestyles and stuff like that, that's when you had a different connection with them. Which is something we're missing nowadays. You'd be like, oh, he's going with Big Tigger at 4 p.m.?
Yeah.
He going to be on the couch? Oh, okay, I'm going to see, you know what I'm saying? Then you get the interview, he go in there, he does a freestyle or something. You know what I mean? Same thing back in the day, even that lost art, it doesn't feel like the same thing. But to see him, a legend as himself, being able to go to Orlando and just do a set and crush it like that, you know what I mean? That's it. I'm not saying it's becoming a lost art, but just seeing those guys that can still do that should be appreciated. For you to be in the movies with such, you know, wordsmiths and legends like that in comedy, and all you guys just feed off each other and make history like that, you know, and everybody, nobody's blocking nobody's blessings. Everybody's like, okay, you got something, I got something. Let's all put something in the pot.
Yeah.
I mean, that should be commended with the way that the industry is going now, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, speaking of the music, man, like hip hop just turned 50 this year.
Yeah.
You know, shout out Flash walking me out to Wembley Stadium with, you know, DJ Who Kid celebrating 50. Shout out Drake dropping For All the Dogs for 50-year-old hip hop. You rocking with the album?
Me and hip hop turned 50 a day apart.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm literally hip hop's baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I flew to the Bronx. Me and my boy Los, we flew to the Bronx and met up with Charlie Mack, first out the limo, hip hop staple, and we were down there with KRS-One right there on Cedric Ave, where Kool Herc created the parties created hip hop. So I was immersed in my hip hop, and then I got this hip hop movie coming out.
Yes. Talk about that. You showed us a clip.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's crazy, and the amount of cameos I got in it, including Damian Wayans, Lil Rel, Wayne Brady, Cedric the Entertainer, my boy DTG out of Canada. Yeah, it's crazy. Shout out to my partner Demaine Ratcliffe. Like we are celebrating hip hop in the way we know how to do it. We're MCs, we're comedians, we're actors, we're writers. We put everything into this movie for hip hop though. And it's a legendary experience. It's a fun run, and I can't wait to drop it.
It is so funny. Like I said, I'm always in on a big collective of all the legends and like the new school, the old school of comedians coming together to produce something big for us
Yeah.
to enjoy. I'm
This
always
is that
in for
film.
it. Yeah.
And I signed the SAG interim agreement so I could talk about it fully. We're in the clear. We're in solidarity. So I could talk about this particular film.
Ooh.
So you directed this? You put this whole thing together?
My boy Demaine directed it, but I wrote it, financed it, produced it, starred in it. I'm playing probably 12 different characters.
Jesus Lord.
Yeah, it's like Hip Hop's Coming to America.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
And
I mean, you saw the
Yes.
teaser, so you can see.
we're going to
and
watch it afterwards because the trend is
You can
hilarious.
see, yeah, and and we wanted to do it where it was convincing, right? I wanted to make sure me and all my guys was like, we want to play people that when you see us on screen, you know exactly who we're portraying,
Yes.
as opposed to, oh, that's Affion in a bad wig. It's Affion again in a bad mustache.
Mhm.
I wanted to make sure that when you saw me, it was like, yo, you did not just play so and so, and to a T. You know what I mean?
What a talent, man.
And just like the start of the certain clips, I'm like, I just connected. I'm like, I know. Who
Yeah,
that
you
is.
knew.
I knew
Because
it.
the visuals are so
Yes.
distinct that you're like,
Yes.
oh, I know exact. Of course, I know who this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the fun of it. That's what like, and you're gonna watch this because you're gonna have fun in like getting in on it. You know.
Yeah.
So who are you listening to right now, man? I know you just did you just put out a skit with Drake in the
Oh, Drizzy?
yeah with
Drizzy Drake?
for all the dogs with the sun, you know, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that album's deserving some of the flack, or you think you're enjoying it, or like what's your belief?
Drake
on
is
the
always
Drake?
going to get flack because he's so great. He's been so great with longevity. He's been so great with being able to do any genre of music, even though he comes from a hip hop origin, right? There's so much jealousy around Drake, and that's all it is. Like, you can't call it nothing else. Sure, everyone is going to have an opinion about whether his artwork is this or that, but you cannot knock the fact that this nigga been in the game for how many years now? 14, 15
15 years now, pretty
Right?
much. Yep.
Yeah, 09.
Selling out arenas this year. Selling
Still.
out arenas still. Dropping an album whenever he wants, and it becomes the biggest topic of that 2 weeks that he
Hate
drops.
it or love it, this is the number.
Hate it or love it.
Yep.
And there's no other rapper who can do what he does. Meaning, you it's gonna feel weird if you hear Jay-Z on an Afro beats, or if you hear Jay-Z singing, or Jadakiss singing, or doing a R&B song.
Right.
MCs that we love as MCs, but they know what their lane is and they stay in that. The fact that Drake has so much versatility in his lane, I think a lot of people are just threatened by that, and they're jealous of that.
Do you think there's a lack of versatility in the subject matter? That's where a lot of the the complaints are coming from.
I mean, look, you can complain about
Yeah.
all of it, right? I think all rappers at some point repeat themselves somewhat.
For sure.
Because you can't. It's not that many words or subject matter in the planet, in the ecosystem. There's just not that many.
And they're saying that because his output is he puts out a lot of music.
Yeah, when you have that
So-
much output,
so-
you're
right.
gonna repeat a word. You're
Right.
gonna repeat a subject.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Or you
saying?
end up reaching for some stuff. Is like, all right, this kind of a miss. But he's been saying a lot of stuff for so many years. It's like 2 albums this year, I believe, or like last year was like Her Loss and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so much content. There's so many.
So to those people that have that argument,
For sure.
show me a rapper that they love that has new subject matter every single time and is fully developed and well received and well produced. Show me that artist.
You know, I got to give him his roses for this. One thing I give Drake his roses for this, and I think this is something that is not really spoken about a lot in the form of hip hop. The man is the top dog in the industry, and he's doing collab projects with people just to do it. 21, Future. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people you might say they're equals or whatever, but him being the biggest star, for him to say, "Hey, I'm gonna do a collab project with this person. I'm gonna do a collab project with that person," and that helps build that person's brand. Because you know how it is, man. People get to a certain level, they're not sharing, bro.
Right.
They're not.
facts.
You know what I mean? They're not gonna do collab projects with people and help bring other people to a level. Drake has literally hopped on the first verse of so many new artists and put them in position from just featuring on, say, "Oh, I like this song, I'll do it."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And put so many people in position to be the top
not even
guy.
on projects. It's on freestyles, like with Central C's and stuff.
Freestyles and hopping
Yeah,
on
it's just-
songs. And,
like,
hop-
hey.
Combination.
Coming.
and hopping on songs with people that you don't even know who these cats are. when they come out. You know what I mean? You only like, who's this? But he'll hop on the record and give them that cosign.
Like how he give Yeet a #1 record in the world?
Right. Nah, he's
like there's a science behind it.
You can say what you want to say, but he's not slowing down, and his success is not diminishing. So what are the people bitching about? I don't understand. Like at some point, you just got to shut up and let him do what he's gonna do, and just keep your feelings.
There's
yourself.
only so much room for winning people are gonna do, bro.
Well, here's the thing. The other thing is it goes back to the clickbait. People have created full podcasts dedicated to criticizing Drake.
Yeah.
Because it gets views and engagement.
Yeah.
So, hey, man.
Who are you listening to? Who are some of your favorites? Like when you get in your zone, maybe before a show or something, when you want to get in that zone, who are some of the people?
Drake is heavy.
Right.
Because Drake be talking that shit. He talk that shit I can relate to. Because he's not a rapper that's talking about packing up drugs. And I've never sold drugs. I don't know what that's like.
I don't know what that's like.
I respect it. You know, if you do yours, do what you do.
I never hit a lick.
But I have never robbed anybody. Right? I've never shot anyone.
Right.
So the fact that he's talking about and you know, the side chicks and his main girl that broke his heart and all that, I can relate to that. I can relate to getting bags and investing in projects and flipping my money in a more mature way.
Absolutely.
I can relate. And then he talked so slick, like even the stuff that I can't relate to, like the private jet life and all that. It's like,
it's something that's like, www.com put a, baby as a hot mom. I was like, there's some little things in there, but that's him being. I understand him being playful.
Slick talk right now.
It's slick talk, but it's playful, and I'm like, okay,
exactly.
He's being playful, and you're gonna remember that line because it's so playful in the songs. But
these are the guys that we're looking at on the screen right now. These are some of my favorite
Royce
artists.
Is one of my favorite lyricists ever.
We listening to Royce in the car right now. Talib is one of my staples. That's my brother.
Last time I was at the Improv, I ran into Talib.
Okay,
Talib, the reason I rap.
See, there you go.
Yep.
Common is another genius that gets better with time.
Yes.
All of them, they all get better with time.
Can still break dance too. That's crazy.
Exactly.
Blows my mind.
Me and him, when he came on to Wildin' Out.
Yep.
Early days. It's like 2007.
I remember this.
Yeah, he came up to me. He was like, "Yo, you B-boy, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Yo, at the end of Go, let's just, I want you to rock out, and then I'm gonna do my thing." He started windmilling and shit. But now it's always love.
Yeah.
And we've ciphered together. Like I've ciphered with all of them except for Royce. And they've given me the microphone on stage. Like it's been that type of energy.
That's a terrifying individual to cipher with.
Yeah. You can't look at it as I'm gonna win this. You gotta look at it as, you know what? Thank you for sharing the energy.
This is a celebration.
It's a celebration. Yeah.
Speaking of celebration, I'm going to see Chappelle tomorrow night in Tampa too.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Shout out to Chappelle, man. He's killing the game.
Insane. That's who you could compare as a Drake. Still going, still selling out,
getting
still
better
freaking
with time,
getting better,
selling out arenas, and he's doing it his way. That's what I really love about Dave, and that's another one of my brothers, man. We've discussed things over the years, and just to see where he is in his mental state and how focused he is on just being him.
Man, he's a Jedi at this point, man.
Facts.
Just knows what to say and like how
he's locked in.
Yeah, and knows how far to push it. Like that's the thing. That's the scary thing about comedy. I feel like. Do you think it is for you still? Like how far you can really push certain subject? Do you know where your line is, or do you just like, you know what? I'm going to go out there. You're going to feel how you feel.
You feel how you feel.
Amen.
That's what I believe in.
Amen.
Okay. You feel how you feel. You say what you want to say, and you be ready to deal with whatever comes from that, the consequences, the conversation, the celebration. You got to be geared up to deal with all of it. So
you never dilute your art. Right?
I don't run from it at all.
I got to ask you this question because I love the one thing I love with your dynamic, bro. I got to give him a shout out to you and Spice Adams. It's hilarious.
Combo.
You two are absolutely phenomenal together, bro. I love Spice.
Thank you, man.
So talk about that dynamic with you two guys, man. How'd you guys link up? I gotta give Spice his flowers, man.
No, 1,000%. That's my brother, man. Like we never grew up together or hung out together. The pandemic brought us together. Mm-hmm. We had never even met the first year and a half. The phones brought us.
Oh, the IG lives you guys were doing.
Yeah. We never even met, and our comedic flow was just so synergistic that we was like, man, we gotta keep doing it. Like we're trying to figure out a live show that we could do.
Oh my God.
A tour.
Please let me know.
You know, we want to do a
Facts.
tour
Please let me know.
and just really give the crowd that live sketch energy. We just trying to figure it out. We live in 2 different cities, so that's the difficulty. He's full-time dad. I'm a full-time touring comedian, actor, writer. So, you know, it's just a lot of time that we got to figure out. But no, shout out, give, you know, Spice's flowers. I was a fan before we linked up. That's how we linked, because I kept liking his videos and laughing because he's just stupid.
Yeah, he's crazy.
He has a screw loose.
You guys, YouTube, man, he does the skits and he's always trying to get you to laugh. Always trying to get you to
Yeah, we're trying to break each other. That's the goal.
That's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
Christian Johnson's been someone I've been watching lately who's like, oh, my stomach bubbling, watching the cooking things.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been someone I've been watching lately. Hilarious dudes. There's been a lot of people I've been like jumping on recently as far as comedians, but man, like we in sports season right now. NBA just picked up. NFL in the middle of things. Who you looking at? Who's your team? Who's your peoples?
I don't watch football at all, so I'm not an NFL guy.
Oh, really? Okay.
Nah. Basketball, I follow the players.
Me
Players
too.
that are greats.
Yeah.
I like to look at who the dogs are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure
Yes,
enough.
sir.
So
Talk about it.
When I don't have a team, even
Same.
though I live in LA, I've been in LA 25 years, so you know I'm a naturally root for the
Same
Lakers when they're up against people, right? But I'm also
Nobody root for the Clippers at all. Nobody root for the Clippers.
no, the Clippers got they fan base. I'm just more partial to the Lakers. You know what I mean? But when there's players that I respect that's on the Clippers, I'm a rock with them. I'm gonna see what they doing, but I also in my mind I like to hold them accountable. It's like, all right, Lakers, y'all making dumb mistakes. Y'all settling for them outside shots all the time. Everybody,
Anthony Davis.
man, listen,
All that height and y'all shooting.
There's like just Anthony, just stand right under the basket. Just stay right there. Stop trying to dribble. You're not Kyrie. But yeah, I watch players. In short, I watch the dogs. Kyrie is one of them. LeBron is one of them. Trey Young, Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
Jimmy
Dame
fucking
time.
Butler, bro.
I'm a Curry
Butler,
guy. As
Curry,
you can see, Curry is my
heavy.
guy right over there.
Heavy Curry.
Big on Curry.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And
Number 30, man.
I like to watch the guys that go for it, that got that heart. You know what I mean? We relate to those players that got heart. You know, one thing, you know,
and they could turn that on.
yeah, turn that on.
I like an Anthony Edwards type dude.
Yeah, man. Like,
I'm like, this young dude is unafraid. That's what I've been noticing about these young guys coming in. Like, they have no fear.
No
They're just
fear,
jumping up in the air.
You know who don't get talked about enough over the years in the NBA? Jamal Crawford.
Oh yeah, he gets his roses in certain.
Yeah,
certain.
but that motherfucker is
Dog.
That dude was a bucket, bro.
Dog. Bucket and handles.
Handles,
Dog.
Crispy.
and smooth too.
Yeah.
Just smooth.
And just an all-around level-headed guy. You know what I
Yes.
mean? He never got out of pocket, but he was always right on time.
And like up until like mid to late 30s, people were still picking him up on teams. Like,
know.
we needed Jamal Crawford. You can't find another player like that to
Facts.
just like grab up. Like there's nobody like that.
Right.
So we always was on the team. Always found a way on the team. That
Yeah.
dude was spicy. There's like a lot of guys in that era that were just like spicy players, like a J.R. Smith type dudes. Like, oh my God, you need a J.R. Smith somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, just dogs off the bench too.
Yeah. I be
Man.
feeling like in the world of comedy, I feel like I be feeling like the Dame Lillard of comedy.
That's how you be feeling?
I be feeling like that because people walk up to me a lot and be like, man, I wish you were more this or more mainstream or whatever. And that's all subjective. But what I feel
hate
is
that. That's what
I hate it too.
I hate that.
I hate it too.
I hate it so much.
So that's why I say I feel like that, because it's like everybody knows who Dame Lillard is. He may not be the biggest name that gets called out right away,
But he is.
but when he shows up, the biggest names look at him and they be like, "Oh,
But that's what kills
Dame,
me.
nice."
But that's what kills me. He is. Like the dude's like
To us, that's what I'm saying.
But that's
Look,
a 9-time
to-
All-Star.
To some people, they could see my accolades or they can see my work and be like, "Yo, Eighth is really." When I walked in this room, y'all gave me those flowers, right? To
Absolutely.
some, I am that, and then to some, I'm not.
Man.
Some people,
But the crazy thing is, Dame's on the All-Star team every year.
every year. Like
but he wasn't the starter. That pissed me off.
Right.
This last
Right.
All-Star
Right.
game when he walked
what
out,
you're
I was like,
saying.
"Wait a
I see
second,
what you're saying.
why
I
is
see
he
what you're
walking
saying.
out with the
reserves.
reserve?" I was like, "What the
Yeah.
f- are you
I
talking
see
about?"
what you're
Yeah.
saying.
That's Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean.
And
I see what
I
you're
feel like
saying.
he don't get the respect
Fact.
that he earned and deserves. And that's how I be feeling sometimes. Even though I don't walk around feeling that, it's not until somebody says that bullshit.
Yes.
I be like
I
am who I am.
That's like, I hate that feeling like, unless you're like, you got to be Jamie Foxx or you're trash. In the
Right,
act.
and
You gotta be.
You be minding your business, and you feel like now
Whoa.
you on the defense of your own brand. You be like, no, but I am great. You know what I mean? Because I don't even want to have to say some shit like that. So, but people,
And that's the thing. You got to defend your own accolades.
Did we
your,
not
your
just talk
own
about this
brand.
last night? Swerve on the phone.
I say
Then
that
we did
all
not.
the time.
We had an hour conversation
like-
about this on the phone yesterday. We talked about the same.
That's what social media has done. This whole debate show thing, like in the like in
Exactly.
Stephen A. Like, respect the man and what he's done in the media as far as black people. I love to see black.
But they're
people
all
on
for
TV.
clickbait. That's
But-
why they
but
created
they
them shows.
always say
It's the
them
same shit said about Drake and
We
relationships.
We started the season 1 and 2. I think we got to trade. I think we have a conversation about so and so. What does his legacy stand amongst all these other folks? I'm like,
You know how
what
many
are we
times
talking about?
They said something else would never happen. Like Tiger Woods will never win another Masters. Steph Curry, he's diminishing. He will never get another ring.
Klay Thompson, his knees are gone. He's never going to win. I'm like, oh my god.
And the
Here we
Warriors a couple years ago bust that ass,
But like
and
the
got
young
right
guys, bust the young
back.
guys
Bust them ass.
Yep.
because
We'll never see somebody drop 27-7 and
Nobody's
and
going-
9 again. These guys is doing it every game now.
Every
it's not even special
game.
no more.
bro.
It's not even special no more. Seeing
We got
people drop.
Nikola Jokic averaging triple doubles throughout the playoffs, just like easily, casually, just shooting over people.
Stay right under the basket, shoot over people. He's Dirk
Jokic-
he's Dirk Nowitzki mixed with Tim Duncan. Like he's so many combinations.
But now it's like, now is he better than Shaq? Well, guys,
No one's better than
please,
Shaq. Let's
stop.
just
So if you're not
But
better than
that's
Shaq,
that-
if you're not better than Shaq, you're not one of the greatest. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes,
Right,
he is.
right.
Yes, he is. He's
Nah, he's-
two-time MVP.
he's earned it.
He's got it.
And
Why
his game is flawless.
flawless? There's nothing.
It don't even look like he's out there playing. He's so he moves
He's-
so slow,
yo,
but
he's
he's
Adam
effective as-
Sandler in Street Ball. He's Adam Sandler on the court. Adam Sandler like, "Whoop-de-doo."
His feet don't even leave the ground, dog.
No, most unathletic dude, and it's terrifying.
And
But, like,
killing people.
But that's I
Killing.
don't like that society. Like, you got to be, if you're not selling 500,000 first week, your album sucks. I'm like, 50,000 is a pretty good.
But you know what? I'm God rated, so wherever God got me is where I'm supposed to be. That's my
just know-
response to all
Talk
that.
about
Just know
that.
you got influence on our culture from like for a
Oh,
very
I know
long
I do.
time.
Look,
You
I
do.
I see my
And I-
influence in so many ways.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of Drake, like I remember they've been circulating this video recently with him impersonating Pacquiao, and I'm just like, I was the first. I was the first to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But because of who I am and how many times I've impersonated Drake, like there was a time when me and him would go back and forth on Twitter where he would be like, he would just laugh at it. He would hit me like, yo, he said, you roasted me on that one. But I would give him back his flowers. Like, nah, you just know it's all jokes. I really respect you as an MC and as an artist. But he's been watching what I'm doing. I'm not saying he took the idea. I'm just saying I've influenced more people than I think I have.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100.
And that's my guy.
Absolutely, man. And like I said, it's not to call anybody out. It's just to say,
Calling you out, Drizzy.
like, say something.
Hey man, let me get a feature.
But the great thing is,
Let's
he
do an
might-
album together,
He
Drake.
might respond. He might see some.
Comedian Affion.
And if you see it, come on the podcast, bro. Just know, that's all I'm saying. We'll fly you out. It's whatever. But yo, just going to give you your roses. Thank you for bringing your legacy here to the Swerve City
Thank you,
Podcast.
my
Thank you for
brother.
combining brands. Protect your brand. DJ Envy is trying to protect his, but like protect yours and
Hilarious.
stuff. You know what I mean? Like
What? Where did that come from?
it was something I wanted to get to, but
You just threw out.
the energy wasn't
Don't
there.
do that. Don't do that.
No, but you just want to know we giving you your flowers. Your influence is crazy. Thank you for coming on. Like you really blessed like our wall of flame. We gonna take a picture. We gonna put you up on this corner
Appreciate
somewhere
you, man.
on this, man. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. Affion Crockett, everybody. TZ, you got something to say? What's good?
Man, I want to give a shout out, man, because in this game, man, there's very few varsity jackets that you get in this music industry. You know what I mean? Few varsity jackets. Shout out to my brother Flash. Shout out to my brother Swerve for hitting that millie. You know what I mean? For Big Pressure. Shout out to my brothers. You know what I mean? For that. You know what I mean? Hitting that varsity jacket. You know what I mean? There's 3 varsity jackets in this room for that can talk about that. Ain't everybody getting a varsity jacket for that. So all for my brothers, for my 2 brothers here, salute to them.
I gotta make space on the wall somewhere.
You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody who's been supporting us. What we doing, youtube.com/Swerve City Podcast. Hit the like, subscribe. Shout out to X, the editor. Shout out to the director, Sai. Shout out to everybody who's showing us support. Make sure you guys do comment, hit the like button, hit the share button. It helps the algorithms and all that. That A word.
Say something, comment, say some stuff.
Because people using algorithms, we ain't even fitting no more.
They can't spell algorithm, bro.
Right. So make sure you guys, hit the YouTube, subscribe to everything that we're doing, man, and that's it.
That's it, man. Be confident in everything you do.
Wash your ass.
And do your homework.
Wash that butt.